All right. Thank you for the kind introduction. I know it's late, so I'll also be quick. All right. So I work at a company called Circle. Circle is a stablecoin issuer for a lot of people who don't know stablecoins. Stablecoins is a new type of money that exists in the world. Its roots are in crypto, as in like traditionally understood as like Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever that is. But as of June last year, it is real. A law was passed in the United States called the Genius Act, and the Genius Act made it so that you can transact with stable coins just like you transact with money. Okay, and that law goes through 18 months of rulemaking. Rulemaking ends like end of this year. By next year, Genius is live. Stablecoins are real money that real companies and like real people can use to do things, much like they do with bank money or like any other money that they have. So I want to set that background so people understand like why I am here. So we're going to talk about like building infrastructure for the agentic economy. Know that like as we talk about that, sort of my roots are in like the on-chain like blockchain ecosystem from which like USDC came out, and now USDC is legal tender in the United States, hopefully by next year. Okay. So a lot of the discussion today has been about like agents, agent governance, and like making sure that agents are secure. But a lot of that discussion is inward facing. And one of the things that USDC does is it lives on the public internet. It is open money that lives on the public internet, like a user who, and the typical user of USDC today, but changing rapidly, is somebody who doesn't have access to dollar banking rails, right? So if you live in the United States, there are 330 million of us. A lot of us have access to good banking, and it is very easy for us to go get like a dollar bank account and like get access to dollar payment methods. If you live across the world, and there are like 8 billion people around the world, 6 billion of them have a phone, and they don't really have a way of like transacting with dollars, okay? And so what USDC did first was made it possible for all of those people to start interacting with dollars, okay? So those dollars live on the public internet. They don't live inside a bank. They're just on-chain. You can see the transactions on-chain. Agents similarly today, like much like money that lives sort of inside, are going to turn outwards. That's our bet. Our bet is like agents are going to be like endpoints, on the internet, much like websites are endpoints on the internet. And we are going to be racing to build these new agents as soon as we get the tech right. So I'm analogizing it with FSD. FSD, like the way to think about it is like, hey, FSD was designed with the assumption that the roads are not going to change. But like, what if you could design with the assumptions that you could actually redo the entire transportation system? You could redo the entire highway system. That's how we think about. That's what we think about when we think about using agents in USDC. So here's some examples. Agents don't tap to pay. Like this is a common modality. Like you go out, you tap to pay. Agents don't have a way of doing that. Next slide. Agents can plug into existing financial rails. So you can give your agent your credit card. You can say like, hey, go spend money with my credit card. Now imagine a world in which your agent spawns 100 sub-agents. Okay, and each one of them need value, and like each one of them need governance, and each one of those actions by those sub-agents need to be programmable. It's not possible to do with like existing payment rails. Okay, so a lot of the things that actually exist in the world, in commerce and even in systems like sophisticated systems like Android and otherwise, are built around like what payments can enable and not enable. And what stablecoins do is they give you the ability to have programmable money, where you can assign like logic to it, and you can do it without requiring the agent to have a bank account, without requiring the agent to have a credit card. So if my agent spawns another 100 agents, which then spawn another 100 agents, each one of them can have a wallet. They can have an on-chain wallet. They can have rules that govern that wallet, and you can actually do all of that tracking out in the open. So what are some of the other assumptions we've made? So in both traditional payment systems and in like on-chain systems, there's this concept of finality, right? What does it mean? When finality is when I have paid you money and that transaction is final. Okay, that is a very important consideration. Like when you do an ACH, when you do a payment, like when an agent swipes a credit card, the merchant is only going to get the money like after the issuer bank has cleared the funds. So it is not full finality. Okay, it's a really important concept. When you send money on an on-chain on-chain, you want to make sure that like there is absolute finality for like when the money has moved from like wallet 1 to wallet 2. So probabilistic finality essentially compounds the risk in the system. If you have multiple agents, and if you're imagining a future in which there are millions and millions of agents, or there are more agents than there are humans, which is true for web pages and websites today on the internet, you cannot have probabilistic finality. Also, so far, a lot of like the blockchain payments happen out in the open. They happen using a public ledger, which is great for auditability, but it's not great to do real economic value. If my wallet is fully public on chain, and you can see how much balance I have, it's very hard for me to actually do a real economic activity because I would be leaking out too much information. So we assume trust can be at the application layer. At agent scale, it is really, really difficult. Okay? Each assumption breaks for a reason. Like every assumption in our current payment system, and payment system essentially which moves all of the values, assumes that the human is one step away, is always ready, is present for governance. Okay? What is the way to fix this? We believe there's a way to do this, which is open architecture, which is to make sure that like all of these agents are running on open systems. They are able to interact with other agents on these open systems. Payments for these interactions are happening in not just our stablecoin, but in any stablecoin that is available in the market, and it is open by design and open by necessity because that's how the web evolved. The web evolved from like a few NNTP and FTP servers back in the early 90s, for those who remember, to what is now an innumerable number of websites and web pages in the world. Okay, so this is what we're doing. We're doing it at agents.circle.com. We have a CLI. Please try it out. It's a marketplace of task-based activity that you can do. You can do payments as low as a millionth of a cent to actually get a task done. People are trying different kinds of tasks, everything from go infer this for me to go do this research or go write this piece of code for me. And all of this is designed to be operated by agents, for agents, and of agents. Okay. Thank you.